You weren't always so great, and you weren't great to a lot of your residents and your citizens, now citizens. You got your start from free labor. I know that like some people like to even come up with this revisionist history that slavery is not what helped the country become an economic world power, but it's exactly what happened. And you need to acknowledge that. You kind of just need to acknowledge
No,
that.
all that free labor didn't help us out. What are you talking about?
I
And
know,
our
right?
economy wasn't built on the backs of human misery. What? No.
What? No, that never happened. No, it was the good old American spirit and the trying of the American dream. Weehaw.
This is a product of the Atheist Community of Austin, a 501c3 non-profit organization dedicated to the separation of religion and government, and don't we need it at the moment?
It's really bad in the United States right now. So we're gonna try, and this is the reason why we asked Nate and Cindy to please join us, because they're really just all looking at us and going,
Oh,
aren't you?
it's not ha ha. It's oh my fucking god! Really?
Yeah,
Again? Again?
yeah.
We used to be such good friends. What's happening?
Then you go ahead and share that link of our channel with your friends, your family members, coworkers. I've definitely done that several times. Probably explains why I've had several jobs in the past couple of years, but let's not go there.
You may remember him from such sermons as "Give me $65 million so that I can buy a jet," and "You can't stop me from dreaming." But yes, it turns out that he has had a change of heart, and he's just now become familiar with the whole new covenant thing. Apparently, he's been preaching for 30 years, but this is news. Not news to me, but apparently it is to him. So, ladies, I tried to watch this sermon. I really did. I couldn't do it. I made it about 20 minutes in, and I was just like, okay, I think I got the gist of it. It was like if you took a Barack Obama speech, subtracted his charisma and character, and sprinkled it with some magic words, but not cool ones like Accio critical thinking. No, just very mundane. It's oh man, it's so boring. I haven't been to church in 20 years, and I was getting flashbacks. It was a bit triggering, so I had to shut it off.
Richard, I think you've been watching the Pope lately. You want to take us into this first one and tell us what's going on over there in Germany?
I have indeed been watching the Pope. I'm like, God, I sneak under his bed covers every night and just have a quick peek. This article is from Euronews.
I feel you, Chief Desmond, because it's not enough to just say that I'm sorry. Yeah, we had like some bad people who did some bad things, and we cool, right? No.
Georgia too. Georgia's kind of turning purple.
It is, yeah.
True.
Yeah,
That's
the
true.
fact that they went with Biden in the last election was definitely a shock to everybody.
Or did they?
Well,
Dun 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 dun.
no, they did.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, they did. They totally did.
I mean, they're essentially advertising conversion therapy. That's what that is. It's this attitude, and I think a lot of religious people think that this is a nicer way of saying it. And I've had this said to me as well as a bisexual person. I don't judge you, but God will. And it doesn't hurt people any less. It's just as damaging because, somebody is trying to make you feel like your existence is wrong in the eyes of the Lord. It doesn't take the sting out of it. So yeah, that kind of thing upsets me.
But when you say that I'm not judging you, the Lord is judging you, you are judging.
Mm-hmm.
You're
judgmental.
I got a couple. One of the things I want to do is I want to reiterate that national Christians, and I've been calling them national Christians instead of Christian nationalists, because they do put country before God, and we can shorten it easily to NatCs.
If we even take 1% of them, who end up, and let's just say that, who end up getting raped, that's still like a good chunk of people. Like there's 27,000 different people, I was never that great at math, but it was in like the 20,000 people.
So
That's just
here's the thing.
that's a
So
paper.
let's
That's
just do the math.
Let
Let's just
me
do the math.
finish my thought experiment. Thank you. So, thank you.
If you like, share the channel with your friends, your family, your coworkers that don't really like you. Trust me, this can only make things worse. And let's get the word out there.
Simply being non-religious does not make you a bad person. It doesn't make you some pariah or all these horrible things that we've heard. Some of us do have horns, but that's actually like a medical thing. And
I am disgusted that they would do this. They thought they were going to learn about colleges. They thought they were learning about maybe trade schools where they're going to take their career. My generation is starting to lose hope that we have any kind of fucking future, and that you are sitting there. Not only they didn't even just sit them down and say, hey, here's the love and joy of the truth of Jesus Christ or any kind of bullshit like that. They straight up traumatized and told these children to forgive their one woman who was a speaker said she forgave her ex-boyfriend for his attempted murder on her. Like, are you fucking serious? You're telling this to 17-year-olds, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. I don't know. I wish people could just fuck off. Like, let people wear what they want to wear. I know it's a cultural thing, but I want people to wear what they want to wear, and not because Sky Daddy will get pissed off because, whoever will start looking at them sexually. The first time I heard of Alex Jones, I heard him from the chemicals in the water are turning the frickin' frogs gay. And I thought that was hilarious.
It just goes to show you how large the community of delusional or indoctrinated people actually is. I'm actually surprised they're not burning witch effigies too. Like, they didn't call for it because, burning witch effigies is an old-timey Christian sport, isn't it?
We're not a Christian nation, but we have for a very long time been a nation largely of Christians. And as that identity becomes threatened, it's going to cause the collective puckering of sphincters all across the land. And so,
to be fair, I have heard when I've brought up Hitler being supported by the church and being a Christian, there is a common objection that I've heard from Christians, which is that they'll say, nuh-uh. So there's that. But the thing is,
it's so frustrating that they point to this not being written into the Constitution, nor is this part of the traditions of the United States, because as Zach just pointed out, yes, it is. We've always had abortion. But secondly, I wonder why the fuck it wasn't in the Constitution. Was it because it was written by a bunch of young white men who did not consider women as their equals?
The F used to stand for freedom. Now it stands for a different F word. And I'll let you guys guess which one.
It's okay. We're more than 5 minutes in.
And
Nate.
also, I found an interesting article about that particular thing, about whether or not Wisconsin is heavily gerrymandered. It's called Why Do Republicans Overperform in the Wisconsin State Assembly? And this was written by John Johnson at the Marquette University Law School faculty blog. If you go to that blog and look this up, be warned, there is math content involved. So be prepared for that.
You've been asking for millions of dollars essentially from your community for how many years, and now you've changed your mind, which is good. But how do you actually, like, if this is a new strongly held belief that you have, how do you actually enact that? I would say giving the money back would be the very Christ-like thing to do. But I don't think that we're going to be seeing that anytime soon.
I don't know. I feel like if the name of the guy that conned you is the same as the thing that he conned you out of, you don't deserve that money.
When Francis was first put into that position, there were a lot of people that thought this was a really, progressive, reform focused individual. And I think this is just another example that is not what the Catholic Church, they are not focused on that. They're not interested in becoming more modern or honestly just less shitty.
The first thing that occurred to me was like, who made this guy a bishop? I mean, seriously, did he just bestow that title on himself?
He did.
Yeah, right. He
He
just
made
got
himself
this
that.
idea. I'm going to pretend like I believe in God. I'll make myself a bishop, and then God will bestow upon me all the riches of the poor around me that I would like to steal.
I think it's a bit of that. I think it's a bit of just speaking like people speak. I mean, Boris Johnson, he doesn't speak how people speak. Boris Johnson, it's all whiff waff, there's a great big scallywag, and then that's kind of Boris Johnson. But
yeah, I think it's Kenneth Copeland who said that GMOs are a plot by Satan to change human DNA so they're no longer human and can't get into heaven anymore.
Classic.
While Noah's Ark itself is yet to be found, science has confirmed that the Great Flood could have actually happened. I don't know. It kind of all of the good feelings that were being built up with the critical thinking and the thoughtfulness, and it was just like, oh, they throw it all away at the end there. It's just like, okay, all bets are off. Chaos reigns here.
We were this close, y'all. We were this close to getting all the way.
Almost made it. Almost.
Yeah. Where's the fiscal conservative, socially liberal, stay out of people's personal lives Republican gone? I want to draw up missing posters for them because they seem to have either been eliminated in some kind of GOP genocide, or they've all decided that they're now going to change their spots and become Democrats. It's just
there's definitely
that's mid-roll right there. Go ahead, Malty.
In India, and then in the cows in the rest of the planet, but also jump to humans and COVID.
You could almost call it the Cowvid pandemic. I'm sorry,
It's the
Cynthia.
first
Go
funny
ahead.
thing I've heard about COVID since it started.
Yeah, that's a
that's
bad pun.
That joke of the day. Thanks, Nate.
That was a good pun about a sad subject. Okay, let's be accurate here.
You totally dad joked. I just want to put that out there. But I think that one of the other things
I'm here all week, folks. Don't try the veal.
Richard, I feel like every week that I'm on this show, every fucking time, it's another goddamn fucking article about how Christians are hypocrites. When will it end? Please, someone put an end to it. Can we end it, please?
It's like it's the only thing they can do.
You live in a world where septicemia kills almost everybody, and you found out a few hundred years earlier that Aristotle and the Bible didn't know anything about this whacking great continent on the other side of the world. So maybe they're not entirely right about everything. There have been constant religious wars. Almost everybody knows somebody who died in them. There has been famine, disease, plagues, locusts, rodents of unusual sizes, all sorts of horrible things going on in the world.
Whoopi Goldberg, a co-host who I have heard of, said, I don't know how many of you just heard what Joy said, but I'm going to let it ride. Wait, what? Your co-host has just proclaimed that she has had sexy fun time with multiple supernatural entities. And you want to gloss over it?
I'm an atheist, Jewish, trans immigrant, and I'll never get elected because I'm never going to be this Goldilocks candidate.
I have to say this, but I looked up Bishop Manus. I think it's pronounced like anus, right? It's in his name.
That's right.
Anus is in his name. I'm just saying his name does end with anus. And he okay, we're talking about a white Irish Catholic guy from Massachusetts. This dude was gonna say all lives matter. This dude. Look, people, if you're at home, Google Bishop Manus, and this dude is if all lives matter was a picture. I'm saying.
Then share the link to our channel with your friends, family members, co-workers, that neighbor guy you don't really like, and the one that you do, and even the prostitute penguins in your life. Anyone and everybody. Part of our job on this show, and certainly my job in the activism work I do, is promoting skepticism. And that starts and always should start with ourselves.
as soon as they hear the buzzwords, they stop listening. They don't care about the details of the case. They don't care. They just hear their favorite bad words: immigrants, liberals, go cops, and they just stop listening. So if I could just leave you with one observation, is keep fewer dicks in this conversation.
You have people here who have too much of an insecurity problem with themselves, going, I don't like anything that challenges my worldview and upsets my apple cart in any way, shape, or form. They don't like seeing a change in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Someone's come along and has just simply suggested a new paint on the wall, and they've gone, no, I'm burning the house down now. You've come along and I'm going to burn the house down. Goodbye now. You wanted this shade of white, but I wanted this shade of white. I'm going to burn the house down.
And I do have one more thing to say. I don't condone anybody getting robbed. I don't. I don't think it's a cool thing to happen at all. But I mean, shit, Bishop, you brought this on yourself.
Oh, by the way, one thing I will just say, the one thing about this article that worried me is how it said the evolution of the universe, the evolution of the stars, the evolution of the earth. I can see Kent Hovind right now going, I see, it's all evolution. I told you, I'm going to get some water.
This article had left so many questions for me. Like, when would a cell gain a soul? Do cells have souls inherently? Does a cell get a soul when it's separated from the body? Or does it have to be viable as a single entity for a certain period of time? It brings up so many questions, and it really makes this whole abortion debate really more complicated.
And again, this is another instance, an example of how Christian nationalism is showing up, people. Excuse me. We're going to take a break soon.
Breathe.
Yes.
Breathe. Breathe, Cynthia, breathe. And then grab hold. And then tell the people what you really think.
Fuck these people.
If only they had watched more episodes of The Price is Right, they would have known to have their cows spayed or neutered.
Bum ching.
I read this and I was like, global warming, rise of homelessness, clean water insecurity, human trafficking, slavery still existing in the world. Nah, a lack of belief in God due to you and your followers of your faith not having good enough evidence to convince anyone with half an ounce of skepticism of your bullshit claims is the problem. That's the problem here, right? Give me a break. Come on, man.
So younger people, don't make the mistakes I did and use your whole spend half your life being kind of anti-establishment and thinking you're all punk rock. Go and vote, because that's the best thing you can do to make change.
I am el tipo Latino. So obviously for me, I might be a little bit too dense to understand American politics, especially because I keep confusing both of them. I don't really know which one is Republican or which one is the Democrat. I just have to look the cartoon of the elephant ripping off an uterus to understand which one that is. And I still don't know which color that is. Blue, red? No idea.
What are your final thoughts about the invasion of the cats? Because they are invasive.
Yeah, as usual, cats are not the ones to blame. They are just the most successful predators on the planet. The ones to blame are irresponsible humans. People, go and castrate your cats, please. You have spade. That's the term in English. Spade your cats.
Spade
because,
and neuter. So our next event will be August 27th, 2022, which is the Bat Cruise. We have chartered the boat. Yay! The bats are roasting under, or no, they're not roasting, but they're roosting. They're roosting, people, under the Congress.
Yeah, you know why they're bringing this back up. This is like what we were talking about in an earlier segment, is that they're trying to bring these candidate cases up for the Supreme Court because they know that fucking raper face, Handmaid's Tale, whitest black guy ever, and neocon sleeper agent, they're going to gleefully rubber stamp anything that gets the DeLorean up to 88 miles an hour. Like, they've issued the call, and now these conservative legislatures are trying to rehash this already settled law in a vain attempt to seize power before they become completely irrelevant.
It's literally the core of every argument I've had with the theist. It's the core of every offensive, hurtful decision made by those in authority. And it is at the core of why education needs to be based in skepticism and focused in fighting bad ideas. Because when what you believe in is based on an interpretation of your religious text, and that interpretation is filtered through 500 years, as I talked about the last show I was on, of wrangling and arguing before it's even written down, and then filtered by numerous wranglings and arguments for a further 1500 years before it gets to your particular place of worship, and then filtered, because we like a lot of filtering in this, through the interpretation of your religious leader before being delivered to you in a nice, friendly, pretty little package box that just happens to fit with the overall feeling of your particular community, then what you believe in is absolutely irrelevant if you are in a position where you're making political decisions based on those beliefs. And that statement should rid itself of the idea of the liberal governor and instead look at decisions that are made not on the back of religious ideological interpretation, but instead on human decency, protection, and compassion.
Watch Talk Heathen live Sundays at 1 p.m. Central. Visit tiny.cc/YTTH and call into the show at 512-991-9242 or connect to the show online at tiny.cc/callth.